Hi, my name is Matthew Rempel, the lead coach for Strategy Made Simple. On this episode, we will be talking about the relationships that you have with your customers and your stakeholders, and how that fits within a business model in the social business model canvas. Welcome to Strategy Made Simple. Today's episode is sponsored by the Strategy Made Simple Social Business Modeling Workshop. You can visit our website to find out when the next workshop is available, or you can email Matthew at Strategy Made Simple to book your own private workshop. Within these sessions, we will be going through, as a group, various business models, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't, where are the conflicts, and where are the synchronicities. Basically, how does your business model work and where does it create impact? We go through section by section through the social business model canvas, and then evaluate each other's, trying to create better business models together. I hope you'll join us. In this section of the social business model canvas, we are talking about the relationships that you have with your customers and your stakeholders. These relationships are probably going to be different, but we can use the same framework to evaluate them. Based on content from Osterwalder and Pinger's business model generation, they identify 6 basic types of customer relationships you can have. First, you have personal assistance. This is where somebody speaks one-on-one to get their problem solved. This is like going into a furniture store, being approached by one of the salespeople, and they help guide you through the process of purchasing furniture that will work for your space. They give you the personalized relationship for the duration that you're in the store. Then, probably the relationship changes once you walk out the door, but that personal touch is what we're talking about when we talk about personal assistance. There is a next level up where there's dedicated personal assistance, where every single time the customer calls, they get the same representative, somebody who both knows them and their history. This is common in the financial industries, where you have a dedicated investment broker, but is often true of small businesses that are offering services to a smaller group of customers, because they'll be able to link the same customer representative with the customers each time. It requires more effort, but draws the customer in with a relationship with a person, not just a company. Then on the other end of the spectrum, they identify self-service relationships. This is like going to the grocery store and using the self-checkout. You don't have to interact with a single person the entire time you're in the store. And for some people, that is what they want out of a business relationship. They want to be able to get what they need without the hassle of talking with somebody else. Or they want the convenience of being able to check things out at their own pace. And now, in the digital age, this is one step further with automated service, where you have chatbots on websites and you have automatic recommendations for movies, videos, music, and more. It provides some of those benefits of the personal service style of relationship without having people involved. And so your company can grow with fewer staff. Now, those methods of understanding your customers and their relationship with you are pretty standard. They've been around for a while. The newer ways of going about customer relationships involve communities and co-creation. Communities are when people gather around the company and the idea that it represents. For example, let's think about a photography group. A group that cares about cameras and what they can do, and the kinds of images that they can produce from those cameras. If one of the camera manufacturers hosts a forum where people are running contests, where they're discussing the best ways to use the newest technology, they're creating a community around the brand, and the brand helps to amplify and to accent that community. The brand provides value by hosting that community, and then also builds it up, and the community builds up the company through their engagement. And then you have co-creation. This is the realm of social media and web hosting sites. This is where YouTube comes in, or Twitter. Anytime the customer is part of building up the value of the service. When the customer is an integral resource towards creating your value proposition. Now, communities and co-creation allow the company to be a lot more open to their customers, to receive feedback, and to have the customers be an integral part of the company's brand. In addition to those 6 elements that are identified in business model generation, there's also a different part of relationships that social enterprise especially need to be aware of. And that's how transparent is your company. How transparent are you with your practices, with your operations, with the kind of work you're doing? And that transparency is the new dimension that I'd like to add to the relationships section here. So all of these relationships can be classified along 3 axes, 3 qualities of a relationship between a stakeholder or a customer. And adding in the stakeholder terminology is also important here, because your customers aren't the only people who are engaged with your company. Stakeholders involve the beneficiaries of the social good that you're trying to make. Stakeholders also involve the people who are invested in the company, either socially or financially. Essentially, there are 3 qualities that you can think about when trying to define what your relationship is with your customers and your stakeholders. First off, there's how transparent are you with your customers and your stakeholders? Are you entirely open? Do you show them everything? Or are you hidden off? Do you hide sections? Are you closed off? Second, you have how engaged are the customers within providing your product? Again, this goes back to the communities and co-creation styles. Do the customers and stakeholders have an input into providing the product or service? Or is it a closed system? Does the business provide everything and then hands it as a finished product to the customer? And finally, the last element is how personal is the relationship? Is it automated? Do you have systems or technology in place to handle the relationship? Or do you have people in place? Are they interacting with the company through an automated system? Or are they interacting with people representing the company? The way you define your relationship with your customers and stakeholders will be some combination of those 3 elements. Whether you're all the way on one end or if you're in the middle, doesn't really matter. As long as you can identify what your relationship is, what your desired relationship is with your customers and your stakeholders. And that brings me to today's case study. We are looking at Fairphone. Fairphone is a cell phone design and manufacturing company. Their phones are modular, so you can swap in elements as needed and that customers can do their own repairs. And in addition, the components are sourced as ethically as possible. They see their business as one step towards a more ethical consumer electronics industry. They're able to show this by showing demand for ethically sourced, modular, repairable electronics, and at the same time, they are changing the supply chain so that there are more ethical miners and smelters, so that ethical minerals becomes more accessible on the supply side for all electronics manufacturers. And here is the vision statement for Fairphone. Our vision is a fair economy. We foresee a world where consideration for people and the environment is a natural part of doing business. Together, we're building momentum to design a better future. To create a fairer economy, we started by making a phone. We uncover production systems, solve problems, and use transparency to invite debate about what's truly fair. Our expanding platform gives a voice to people who care about social and environmental issues. By establishing a viable market for ethical consumer electronics, we're motivating the entire industry to act more responsibly. So in essence, their value proposition is that they're building a modular phone with replaceable parts, with ethically sourced materials, and a longer lasting design. Next, their relationships. Fairphone is transparent with their customers. They provide videos for how to adjust and replace parts of the phone. They have open source code so that it can be adjusted by hobbyists or other industry professionals. And their list of suppliers, smelters, and refiners are freely available. They are engaged with and building communities within specific geographies where their customers live. They find the locals who can help, and they connect them with others, which builds enthusiasm for the product and for the community. And finally, their customer relationship is primarily automated when it comes to sales on their website or providing support, although they do also offer personalized support for people who need it. When looking at selling to consumers, they sell to most of the Euro market, and they're primarily focused in on socially or environmentally conscious individuals. They also appeal to those who want to be able to repair their own tech. And when they're selling to companies, they're selling to resellers, phone plan providers, or businesses to provide a company phone. Their channels include their website, which is shipped within the Euro market, as well as 226 points of sale, 23 of those online, and 203 physical stores. Those numbers are as of 2017. Their activities involve product research and development for modular design and improving their parts. They support and provide resources for customers who want to do their own repair. They lease phones to business customers so that they're able to upgrade when needed. And Fairphone can appropriately recycle or dispose of the materials when parts fail. They also go and they examine the supply chain so that they know that the people that they're working with are providing good jobs at fair wages for their employees, and they know that their minerals are coming from conflict-free zones. Fairphone's partners include Fair Trade and B Corp certifications, strong supplier relationships, including a long list that they publicly provide. They also partner with Google for the Android operating system for the phones. They also have a list of funders, which initially started with WAG Products BV, and then has also expanded to other social investors since then. They also partner with electronic recyclers, and they have a workers' council that is elected from the employees. The resources that they have include their phone designs, their open source code, and they also have informed staff that are able to teach suppliers how to do their activities more ethically, both environmentally and socially. Their revenue primarily comes from phone and part sales, and their expenses are on the research and development, support, manufacturing, which is primarily sourcing their phones, and staffing costs. Now, within this model, there are a couple challenges that have to be addressed when you're running this kind of a business. One of the big challenges that they identify in their 2017 report is that it's difficult with cash flow and keeping parts in stock. Because if you have hundreds of different parts for variations on your phone, either you have to buy in large quantities, which impacts your cash flow, or when the manufacturer is done making those kinds of products, you just don't have any more available, and then your customers are left without replacement parts. That's the model for Fairphone when they're working to improve an industry that is often fast to move but hasn't had a lot of progress in this area. Thank you for joining us. If you liked this episode, please share it with somebody else who would find it useful. Once again, this episode is sponsored by the Strategy Made Simple Business Modeling Workshops. You can find out when the next workshops are available by visiting strategymadesimple.ca/workshops. And if you'd like to have the business model template that we use in the social business modeling workshops, there's a link down in the description where you can download the social business model canvas worksheet. Do you have questions, comments, or concerns? Please tweet at me, @MatthewRempel. And if you'd like to discuss with other industry experts or interested people, you can join us at Social Economy Connect. Social Economy Connect is a free network of people that I've started together to talk about these social economy issues, to figure out how we can do it better, and to help each other through struggles. If you're interested, please join us, socialeconomyconnect.com. And as you go to define your desired customer relationships, keep it simple.